On behalf of the staff and students of Cody campus, my name is Jonathan Matthews, principal of Cody Academy of Public Leadership. I'm joined with Principal King and Principal Partner. Principal King, principal of Detroit Institute of Technology in Cody, Principal Parker, principal at Medicine and Community Health. And we welcome all of the dignitaries and the Cody family and the Detroit family as a whole to Cody for another special day. It was a little less than a year ago, we announced the remodeling of the school in terms of making some changes here. Now we're looking at remodeling how we go about educating our young people today. So with that being said, I'd like to introduce someone that really can't say anything more about him, and he's done a great job in our leadership today, Mr. Jack Martin, to have some opening words to kick off this celebration. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Cody, and for our out-of-town visitors, welcome to the great city of Detroit. Good to have you here. And to the Cody High School principals, Principal Matthews, Principal Parker, and Principal Hall King, I want to thank you for hosting us this morning and for the passion, caring, and commitment you show every day to the students in your school. So thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause, please. And if your jobs are indeed a challenge, however, you give 100% of yourselves, making a real difference in the lives of your students and their families. The same level of thanks is owed to the teachers and other staff members who work tirelessly alongside you. I would also like to acknowledge Detroit Public Schools' new emergency manager, Darnell Early, who was here today, his third day on the job, as well as the members of the Cody and Osborne governing councils who are here today for their strong support of these small schools. There are 3 small schools in this complex. Mayor Duggan, Assistant Secretary Williams, Councilman Tate, Councilman Gabe Leland. It's an honor to have you with us at the Cody High School campus today for this special announcement that I know will greatly benefit the young men and women of Cody and Osborne right now, and in the future, even more of our high school students. Detroit Public Schools is committed to ensuring that its students are both college and career ready. Programs such as Jobs for Michigan graduates are absolutely instrumental in helping us to achieve this critical outcome. They're the perfect complement to work DPS has already underway that is slowly but surely increasing graduation rates and preparing our students for life after high school. I know that we would not be making this announcement today were it not for several individuals and organizations. First, USA Fund's President and CEO Bill Hansen, former Secretary, and my colleague at the U.S. Department of Education, and Stephanie Nellens Page, the wife of my colleague and boss at the U.S. Department of Education, Secretary Rod Page, for providing the financial support of Jobs for Michigan grads to expand to Southeast Michigan, and for having the confidence in DPS that we could respond to their requests and begin implementing the program on very short notice. Also, Superintendent of Academics, Karen Ridgway, for championing this program from the very beginning and going above and beyond to make certain that DPS and its students did not miss out on this very important opportunity. Thank you, Karen. And finally, Pamela Moore and the Detroit Employment Solutions Corporation for being our implementation partner. Thank you, Pam. I can't thank you all enough for your support for this very important program. I'm confident that our students will seize this opportunity and make the most of it, not only for their future, but the future of our city and this region. Now it gives me great pleasure to bring to the podium Ms. Kristen Harrington, Director of Jobs for Michigan Graduates. Kristen?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the introduction, Mr. Martin, and welcome to Mr. Early as well. My name's Kristen Harrington. I'm the Director of Jobs for Michigan's Graduates, and I would like to reiterate so much of what Mr. Martin said in just thanking our countless partners who have come together to not only make Jobs for Michigan's Graduates launch a success in Detroit, but to also make this day possible. So thank you all so much. A special thank you to USA Funds, who will be featured later today, for their tremendous investment in the Jobs for Michigan's Graduates expansion in Detroit. So the question in many of your minds is probably, what is Jobs for Michigan's Graduates? I know Mayor Duggan certainly just asked me outside. Jobs for Michigan's Graduates is a dropout prevention and recovery program that focuses on ensuring that kids graduate successfully and then transition into employment or post-secondary education or the military. To speak back to what Mr. Martin said, we're really in close alignment with the goals of the Detroit public school system as they look towards the future of their education. JAG National has been in existence for 31 years, serving 1 million students across 35 states. Our JMG specialists in our schools in both Cody and Osborne high schools provide mentorship, instruction, and support aimed at leadership development and preparation for employment. Jobs for Michigan's Graduates has been in existence since 2008 through partnerships with Connexus as well as the Whirlpool Corporation former CEO Dave Whitwam, where we launched in Southwest Michigan in Benton Harbor. Through the great success of that program, we were able to take the program to scale, where last year we served 407 students statewide. This year, we're expected to serve nearly 800 students, and with investments such as USA funds and the Workforce Development Agency for the state of Michigan, we'll be taking the program to nearly 1,600 students next year. We thank everyone for their support and for welcoming us to Detroit. This is the first of many wonderful years to come, so thank you. Now it is my distinct pleasure to invite the true stars of this event up to the podium. Can I please invite Deja Mincy from Cody Medicine and Community Health, as well as Miles Hansborough from Osborne College Preparatory.
Hi, it's an honor to be here to speak before you guys today. I would like to tell you how JAG has helped me personally. JAG has steered me in the correct direction to decide what career choice I would like to pursue in, which is travel nursing. It has also helped me come over some obstacles, which is a personal best one of mine, is being more open-minded, because I see that when you only select one alternative, it deprives you of more opportunity. So my JAG teacher has really taught me, like, you have to explore your options, be more, adventurous, and really just explore all your options and really do what you have to do. JAG has also helped me realize that I have to set up my agenda, do plans, and do what I have to do to set up for my future, which I didn't do before. I knew what field I wanted to go into, but I wasn't sure. So she helped make out an agenda plan and do what you have to do so you can know what you're going to strive for. We've been in here 4 months so far, and I already has learned so much, from my, I already learned so much from my JAG teacher, Ms. Wilson, and she has really taught me just to do what you got to do because you have more than one talent. Don't just settle for one. Always, focus on what you got to do and do what you can. So I would like to thank her, and I would like to say that so far I'm so interested in what JAG has to offer in the next year because I will have her for 2 more years. So nice talking to you, and have a rest of a wonderful evening.
Hello, I am a senior at Osborne College Preparatory Academy, and I wrote a little speech. It's gonna be brief because being here amongst all you people makes me lose my thoughts and I just get tongue-tied. All right, so before I had JAG, I was losing hope for Detroit and everything I've been through, because growing up on Detroit's east side, 7 Mile and Hoover to be exact, you see a lot goes on, and you just question yourself, can I make it? And what it's gonna take to get there? And if I'm there, what if I lose it all? So later on, my school year began, and I was introduced to my JAG instructor, Mr. B. And he asked, what was my story? What have I been through? So I decided to question myself again. Why would someone like him ask, what have I been through out of all students? So I told him. I had a troubled past, I was adopted, and life wasn't looking too good for me. I was just ready to give up right then and there. So he invited me to go to DC, which was the convention for JAG, celebrating their 1,000th member, which was awesome. And more people started explaining their story, and people were saying they was homeless, they had to sleep on buses, they had to keep moving from shelter to shelter. and yet they still had 4.0s, 4.9s, 4.5s, and it was all because of JAG. So I was thinking, like, Allah has come true for me. I'm here. I became a 3.8 student. I made it. I made it here. I went to DC. I'm amongst the governor. This is the mayor, the secretary, all these other students, and I still question, like, is this real? Because I just want to say thank you for this program, and through this program I have grown, and I'm going off to college, and JAG became a family, and they're there for me, and they was there for my mother, and it's just the best thing possible, and I want to say thank you.
Good morning. I'm Pamela Moore, the President and CEO of Detroit Employment Solutions Corporation. I am so inspired by our young people this morning. We are the administrators of the JAG program. We have 90 young people in Cody and 90 young people in Osborne. And as we approach Martin Luther King's holiday, my dream would be for every young person in the city of Detroit to be exposed to this kind of program. We are not only going to ensure that they graduate from high school on time, but that they are prepared for their lives beyond high school, and giving them the tools and information and resources that they need to make educated decisions about career pathways beyond high school. And those pathways go in many different directions. It could be post-secondary education at a community college, a four-year university. It could be training to earn credentials that are stackable and portable and nationally recognized. It could be to work during the day. That's what I did, and I went to school at night. There's so many options. I want you to dream big. When I was at DPS, I dreamed big, and I knew that every adult around me was going to support my dream. And so that's my dream for every young person in the city of Detroit to have this opportunity. So we appreciate this program so much. USA Funds, thank you for your support. DPS and my board member, on behalf of the Detroit Workforce Development Board, Kevin Smith is a board member. He made this happen. He took this back to DPS with the help of Ms. Ridgway. We called in the principals and the teachers, and we selected these young people in record time and got this program on the ground in the fall. I want to thank our year-round youth providers who provide support to these young people, year-round support, leadership development, mentoring, help with their basic skills. We couldn't do this alone, so it takes a wide network of partners to do this work, but I am so impressed with the young people. I visited a class and they were talking about marketable skills, what employers are looking for. They expect you to show up on time, be able to communicate, to understand the culture that you work in. So we're giving them these life skills that they need to go beyond high school and to be successful. So thank you for this partnership and this opportunity. To Assistant Secretary Williams, thank you for my brother's keeper, and President Obama and all that he does to focus on our young people. We just appreciate the focus and the support. And we promise that the outcomes from this program will be what we said that they would be. And so speaking of outcomes, I want to introduce someone who is committed and dedicated to our young people in the city of Detroit and their families. We have to provide support for the entire community and the entire family. He sets high standards for those of us that are on his team, and we better produce. And those outcomes better impact the lives of people every day, young people and their families, so that they can be examples to their families, their siblings, and to their community. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my boss and the mayor of the city of Detroit, the Honorable Mike Duggan.
Well, thank you, Pam. This is quite a distinguished group, and I want to thank the principals of the school, the leadership of the school district, my new friend, Assistant Commerce Secretary Williams, who's been in town for a couple days, and I'm going to be with him in Atlanta this weekend, but he's the former mayor of Youngstown, Ohio, who knows what it means to turn around a city. And I especially want to thank my partners, Councilman Gabe Leland and James Tate. Are they here? Or do they have to get back to a meeting? There they are. You actually have the mayor and the city council working in partnership, and they have been advocates for opportunity at every turn. And that's really the thing. Something I believe deeply is this, that I believe opportunity, I believe talent is spread evenly across the country, around the world. I believe talent is distributed evenly. What's not distributed evenly is opportunity. And Deja talked about a training program that says, think about all your talents and use them. And as I walk up, I look at this, I see the chess trophies here. Did this school win some chess tournaments? Anybody here on the chess team? Okay. But this is the kind of stuff you learn in Detroit. A few months ago, I was at an event where there was a group of young Detroit public school students playing chess, and it was some type of public event, and they said to me, do you want to play one of us? Well, I was on the chess team at high school just a few miles from here at Catholic Central. I was a serious player. It's been a while, but I said, sure, I'll play you. They put me down with this little girl who's 8 years old, third grade, and TV cameras start to show up. And I said, all right, I don't want to embarrass the little girl in front of the TV cameras, so we start. I'm about 5 moves in, and I realize she's thinking 2 moves ahead. And now I realize I'm losing. And I don't care how old you are, I don't like to lose. I was very fortunate with TV running to get a draw in that chess match, at which point they said to me, this young Detroiter is the Michigan 8 and under state chess champion. A year or a month later, she went to Dallas. She won the national 8 and under chess champion. Out of our public schools, you have a whole range of talents. But what happens if those talents don't have the same opportunities to succeed? And we all remember what it was like to be 15, 16, 17-year-old. I don't care what background you came from. You're very unsure about your future. What do I want to do? Am I going to make it? And to have a program like JAG come around and say, we're going to be here for a year or two. We're going to be at your side. We're going to talk to you about the opportunities. We're going to prepare you for them. And if you think what's happened in this city, if you just look at this week, you know what I've done this week? Tuesday, I was out at an announcement that a building, an 8-story building called the Strathmore, that I closed down when I was a prosecutor for drug dealing, $40 million renovation of that building for 120 apartments, 40% of them affordable apartments. Huge amount of work's going to go into that. The next day, Wednesday, yesterday, you saw an announcement from a company called Android, 125 new manufacturing jobs going into the Focus Hope area. And then GM announced there's going to be a new logistics center in Southwest Detroit, 225 more jobs. I am going from here to Corktown, where we're breaking ground on the National Lightweight Metal Manufacturing Institute. University of Michigan and Ohio State have teamed up with the Department of Navy. And then, yeah, can you believe that? So that's the really remarkable. The really good thing is I convinced Ohio State and Michigan to both come to Detroit. But they are going to be making the new lightweight metal that'll become what goes into ships and planes and cars right here in the city of Detroit. There are more opportunities coming to the city of Detroit than we have seen in decades. And the question is, are our own young people going to get those opportunities, or are people going to come from other places to fill those jobs? And I want us to see everything we can do to make sure that the people from this community get the first chance. And that's why I see the JAG program as being so critical. It will help open your eyes to all the choices are out there, and whether college or something else is the right choice for you, or whether starting your own business might be the right choice for you, this is the time to think about what are your dreams. And I just want to thank the USA Fund for doing that. And with that, I have the very great privilege to introduce about the most passionate and tenacious advocate for the children of the city of Detroit, the head of the Skillman Foundation, my friend Tanya Allen.
Good morning. I want to, could you all join me in just thanking Deja and Miles again for sharing their story with us? Deja and Miles and all of the students here who I want to just say you are some good-looking kids. I want to say to you, I heard a young woman, I was interviewing her a couple weeks ago, and she said to me, you know, I think I've done good for a kid out of Detroit. And I had to pause for a moment, and then I had to correct her. Detroiters do great things everywhere across the country, and you are destined to do great things too. So I am grateful to Jack to be here to remind you what kind of spirit, what kind of talent, what kind of contribution that you'll be able to make in this world and in our city. Our mayor he doesn't need much help, but he needs the help of all of us to turn this city around, and we're all going in the right direction, as he just shared. The Skillman Foundation has made a commitment to 6 areas of the city of Detroit. 2 of those areas are Cody and Osborne, where the JAG program is working. One of the things that I would just say to you is through that investment, we've actually seen graduation rates grow by 15% in both of those neighborhoods. For girls, graduation rates have grown by 10%, and for African American boys, graduation rates have grown by 20%. And that is an amazing feat. Just in 5 years. Just in 5 years, and we still got a long way to go, and so we're really grateful that JAG is going to help us in that. And one of the ways that we're going to do that is through Detroit's commitment and our willingness to accept President Obama's My Brother Keeper Challenge, which we did in December. We appreciate the president's commitment to our city, to our boys, to our girls, to everyone that lives in this city. It's a special moment because we're seeing investments and commitments from many across the state, across the country, and across our city. I'd like to thank Mayor Duggan for accepting that challenge, Councilman James Tate for being a significant leader on that. And in the next few months, you'll see much to come from that. Robert Thornton is in the back, who is leading that effort for us. I'd like to now transition my comments to introduce the Honorable Jay Williams, who was appointed as Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Economic Development last year. It's a big title. Basically what it means is he's charged with bringing Americans jobs, and for that we love you and we wish you luck. Previously, he has served, as the mayor said, the mayor of Youngstown, Ohio, where he was born and raised, the White House Deputy Director for Office of Intergovernmental Affairs, the Executive Director of the Office of Recovery for Auto Communities and Workers, and the Big Three, thank you, the City of Detroit, thank you for that. In addition to that, he's been lauded for his achievements. He received the 2007 John F. K. Kennedy New Frontier Award, which recognized exceptional young Americans under 40 whose contributions in public office demonstrate the impact, the value, the spirit of the former president. So with that, no further ado, can Detroit give a great welcome to Assistant Secretary Williams.
It was clear to me that when we stepped out of the car and stepped into this facility that we were at someplace special. My staff and I were greeted by smiling cadets. I was escorted up to the second level by Piper, Megan, and some of their colleagues. And it was clear as we greeted the students, they articulated their names, they looked us in the eye, gave us handshakes, that this was a place that we were supposed to be. And I'll talk to you about why in just a minute, but I also want to, again, reiterate my admiration for Mayor Duggan, who I told him yesterday when we met in his office that for a number of years I've been a fan and a supporter of his from afar. I have watched him lead this city in so many ways. And Mayor, thank you for your passion, your commitment, and I'll speak for the mayor, and I'm sure he agrees, and he said it himself, that there is no more important work that he does. Of all the things that he has to do, the hundreds of millions of dollars of investment that he is attracting to the city of Detroit, making sure that the resources are here to keep people safe, making sure that Detroit continues to move in the right direction, I'm sure he will tell you that there is no more important work that he does than the work for the young people of this city. So again, Mayor, thank you for your passion and for your leadership. This is a strong and a proud city. And our students, as it was alluded to earlier, we have long fancy titles. People refer to us as the Honorable, and we appreciate that. That comes with the territory. But the real stars here, the real people who we are here to honor and support are our students. So again, to the students who have presented their talents and their time, we thank you. And it's interesting because we couldn't do this without the partners that have already been referenced. Jobs for America's Graduates, Jobs for Michigan's Graduates, the Skillman Foundation, the Michigan Workforce Development Agency, Detroit Public Schools. What's going on here, these aren't donations, these are investments. They're investing in the students of this city. And when you make an investment, you make a donation and you don't expect anything in return. You make a donation because it's the right thing to do, it makes you feel good in your heart. But when you make an investment, there's an expectation of return. But not a monetary return. For those who invest on Wall Street or who invest in stocks, they're looking for a monetary return, that value. But the millions of dollars, the time, the energy, the effort that's being invested in our students, we don't want a dime from you. We don't want any money from you. But the return that we are anticipating, the return that we are expecting, are for you to contribute to the well-being of your society, to continue to change the face of Detroit, the reputation, the image of Detroit. So that's what we are looking for with respect to this investment. And JAG has been doing that for more than 1 million young people across the country. So we talked about, or it was talked about, that Detroit Public Schools is specifically with this program preparing students to be college ready for those that choose that, to be career ready for those that choose a career. And in doing that, it's interesting that we are at a great time for that to be in place. Because just 5 years ago when the president took office, 5, 6 years ago when the president took office, we were facing the greatest economic decline that this country has seen in any of our lifetimes. Only the Great Depression was the worst economic time in the history of this country. Last February, 2014, a year of action, that the My Brother's Keeper initiative was going to focus on expanding those opportunities for all Americans, but particularly those young men and boys of colors, and it certainly doesn't exclude our young women, but those young men and boys of color who for decades have not had those same opportunities, have had enormous talent, but have not had the opportunities to demonstrate that talent. That's what My Brother's Keeper is about, and that's why the president asked us to come here today to share this with you. I'm honored to be an ambassador for the program because, again, it wasn't that many years ago as I sat as a young man in the east side of Youngstown, Ohio, with the same or very similar frustrations, that a program like that certainly would have been welcome. It's an all-in effort by the business community, by the foundations, by the faith-based community, by leaders represented in this room to create greater opportunities for young men and young women of color to demonstrate the talents that they often hold. So we started it last February, and then this past September, the president expanded the My Brother's Keeper to a community challenge to encourage cities and towns across this country to step up and embrace that, to take that challenge on, to create those opportunities for their young people. And as a result of the, not donation, but the investment of the Skillman Foundation and so many others, the city of Detroit was one of the first communities in the entire country to step up and say, we will accept the challenge to be a My Brother's Keeper community. And as a result of Detroit stepping up, over 100 communities across the country have done the same thing. So let me conclude with this. It is really an honor to be here. There is, again, no more important work than we are doing than to help create those opportunities. When we talk about the 11+ million jobs that have been created, and the agency that I work for now is about helping to bring opportunities. So governments don't create jobs. Jobs are created in places like Detroit and Cleveland and Flint, Michigan and Youngstown, Ohio, when people come together and make those investments. And as the mayor talked about, it's great that 11 million jobs have been created, but for the jobs that have been created in Michigan and specifically for the jobs that have been created in Detroit, our priority is to make sure that those opportunities are geared and open and available to the citizens of this fine city. And importantly, citizens of this school system who will be going out and taking advantage. So thank you for, again, the opportunity to be inspired. Thank you for all that you have done. Thank you for allowing us to spend some time. And as we, this weekend will take additional time, and it's not because we do it once a year, but as we take additional time to reflect on both the words and the work of Dr. Martin Luther King, one need only to look at the news to understand that his words and his work are as relevant now as they have ever been. But it's also an opportunity to continue to be inspired, and that's why the President asked us to come here. So thank you for everything that you're doing, and this will only be successful if each of us, collectively and individually, truly decide that we are indeed our brother's keeper. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Janelle Duray. I'm the Vice President of Jobs for America's Graduates, the national organization that's working with Todd and Kristen and the team to grow Jobs for Michigan's graduates. I just want to thank everyone for being here today. It's an exciting time. I want to thank the Assistant Secretary for joining us today and the great work that My Brother's Keeper is doing. We believe that JAG is so closely aligned to that mission, so glad to be here again. Thank you to Kristen, to Todd, to the entire JMG team. They are doing incredible work in doubling the program across the state and plans to double it again next year. I want to thank all of our partners, which we've heard many times, but DPS, Detroit Employment Solutions. I want to thank Governor Snyder, who wanted to be here today, but the state has made a wonderful investment in JMG, which is allowing this expansion. And of course, Mayor Duggan, thank you for being here today. We are so happy to be in your city. It's something we've wanted for quite some time. USA Funds, I'm going to be introducing Stephanie Nellen's page in a little bit, but it's that investment as well as Skillman Foundations that has allowed the change that we're seeing in Detroit. USA Funds has done a tremendous investment in JAG, not only in Detroit, but also in Las Vegas, in the state of Delaware, and in the state of Missouri. I want to talk a little bit about Jobs for America's Graduates and let you know that it's something much bigger than not only Detroit. We're actually in 1,000 communities across 31 states, serving nearly 48,000 youth every year. And Miles had mentioned that we just celebrate our 1,000th student. You're close, but not quite there. It was actually 1 million. So we celebrated serving 1 million students over 35 years. And this is in communities from Native American reservations in Montana and South Dakota to inner cities of Atlanta, Detroit, and now again in Las Vegas. I want to make 3 points about our program. We, over 35 years, reached 90%, I should say our students reached 90% graduation rates. We double the rate that youth get jobs, specifically youth of color, double the rate that they get jobs, and triple the rate that they get full-time jobs. And we nearly double the rate that youth go on to higher education. So we believe we have something really special, and we are just so delighted to be working with all of our partners in Detroit and across the country to make that happen, to really provide those opportunities for youth. And as we've heard, it's not that youth aren't able to do it. Every individual student has that ability. It's the opportunities that we present to them, and we guide them along the way.